Hello guys, it is that Panda Guy and I'm here again with another video, and today we are looking at our recent Pompeii fight against Fox. And I do have quite a few friends here, so I was like, dang, I really have to fight these guys. And I had noticed from the banner and I had guessed it would be these guys, and I was spot on. And to start off, we had sent in a rally against their helipad right off the bat, and this was a diversion tactic, as well as hopefully we would have captured the helipad if they weren't paying enough attention, which we didn't, unfortunately. And to be fair, I had taken a good amount of time to actually have my accounts load in because my freaking CPU has been out of control recently, and I was lagging when Pompeii started. It was really bad. So I had to gather my accounts, and we worked our way over to their operation base off to the right side of the map. And I want to say real quick that I try not to sound rude in any of my videos, and I do try to stay respectful to every alliance, and these videos are supposed to be for fun as well as just entertainment in general, and I will be giving my thoughts on, the mistakes they made, and I just hope that nobody from Fox thinks I'm being cruel or anything. Just want to get that out there. So first off, I will say all the mistakes I think Fox made here. And of course, we made mistakes, and if I see them, I'll go over them. But Fox, I think, are just not organized in, a sense of maybe captaining. I feel they even don't fill these like structures as much as they should have, right? Like we went up to the operations base in the right corner, the bottom right corner, and we took it without zero resistance, no troops inside. These guys have to make sure that they're splitting their captains, splitting their players. Like they had, I think, 3 or 4 tier 6 players in this who were able to possibly captain with proper heroes, whereas we only have maybe 2 T6 players, being me and Impushy, and I don't even have T6 infantry tech yet. So in general, we should be getting overpowered here, be it like might on the field T6 wise, as well as just overall we are out teched. We aren't outnumbered, I don't think, but in general, we kind of were just put into a fight that should have been unwinnable, right? These guys have more T6 players who can spread proper garrison captains in each of them with proper heroes, whereas even if I'm garrison captain in every single tower or every single outpost, I'm put into this spot where I'm forced to defend with, let's say, Lewis when I wouldn't want to defend with Lewis, or I'm defending with Maya when I don't want to defend with Maya. You actually see me give up my my garrison duty on one of those one of those outposts or operation bases a minute ago. I put my Regro in a forward one, and then I moved my Maya actually back. So I am garrison captain, although it's not a proper garrison captain. I still want it to be there, and that's what you guys see. And the point of that is just to have my Peterson and stuff to be able to heal and last as long as possible, because if we do end up losing the operations base, I will end up just moving my Regro back into the other operations base. So if we do end up getting swarmed, which we actually have this happen to us, I can actually just manage all that, and we are able to hold as good as possible, because generally people are going to be more willing to target the operations base that is closer to them compared to the one that's further away near our helipad, right? So these guys are instantly targeting that one, and it worked out really well. But in general, they have an issue with putting proper garrison captains in. I think they have too many of their whales just on the field, not paying attention to that kind of stuff. I feel this is like really a big issue for a lot of alliances, and honestly, I expected Fox to kind of put up garrison captains against us to make this impossible, because we would be forced into a really bad fight where we were maybe bouncing around behind them trying to knock them out of outposts instead of the operation bases, maybe kind of drop their point gain. But we managed to take 3 operation bases, 4 at some points. They were kind of struggling on the right side of the map, but we managed to take 3 to 4, and we're just kind of causing a disturbance. And then you also see me port up here, and I think Lil Nasty also makes a mistake of kind of paying too much attention to me because I do not have a lot of troops home. I am only playing with 2 marches on this account, and the rest of my accounts are actually currently moving around the map, causing as much havoc as possible. But like I was saying, I only have 2 marches on this account because my other marches are all being garrison captains on the most important structures that we have. So all in all, I don't know, man. I think that these guys definitely could have done better. Definitely could have, I don't know. The thing is, I think they should have given up this helipad. I think they focused way too much on trying to hold the helipad, because at this point they should be really focusing on pushing our outposts while I'm over here and trying to just get us out of them. And they do actually do that at some point, and I poured up, and you guys will see that in a minute. But just in general, I think that's the biggest mistake they made. I think they could have also run more rallies. They weren't running no rallies on our stuff. They were basically only swarming it. And of course, this is a mistake I have with myself a lot, and I think just in general I could improve on that. But like I said, they could have been running more rallies, and Also, another point I mentioned, they, even if they put proper garrison captains in these things, even if they're filling them properly, or I don't know. I think the big issue also is that they just aren't filling the things to the brim. They are all over the field. They have a lot of players who are just running around trying to field fight compared to actually filling these operation bases and playing more objectively and trying to actually get points. Also, you see him swarming my base. I think he got pissed because I was just turtling in my base at some point. I stopped popping my head out because I was just trying to keep him in stall for time, because I knew the longer that we stalled for time, the more that this battle would be in our favor. Since we had 16 minutes, we were already up by 6k points, and this was just, it was glorious, guys. It was glorious, and the longer we stalled, the better this got. So generally, I'm not really a field player in at least Pompeii, but I decided that we were already ahead, and honestly, if I tried to target their outposts, they would have had more wiggle room to actually target ours or target our back lines. So I decided I'd just field fight, maybe target mid, and then eventually actually start trying to work towards our left side of the map where our operations base is and almost knock us out of it. But I was actually starting to gather my troops because my freaking accounts were dying. And then we start trying to resist. And by the way, at that point, we had already kind of won on points, but I didn't want to lose it just to be safe. Always think that you could lose, because I mean, at least when we're this close, it is definitely possible to lose, just really hard. They would have to overwhelm us pretty hard for us to get pushed out. But you see here, I have Maya in this thing, and I don't want them swarming it with Maya in it. So I port over here, I get my freaking Regro March ready because I already had it sent back home. They smacked us out of it, and I needed to hop in there. And they start getting a swarm off before I can get in there. I didn't want them to swarm me with Maya, so I swapped it over actually to another hero, and then I try to pull my freaking squad out, and then I pop my Peterson and Regro in there, swap the captains, and my marches actually weren't fully ready on my accounts, and I swarmed the field. I also want to mention real quick, I don't talk a lot about my alliance when going through Pompeii, because a lot of this is my perspective, and it's hard for me to be all over the map, especially when I'm just super involved with what I'm doing. But my members do put in a great deal of work. They were fighting beside me. They were fighting up in that corner of the map, kind of keeping them busy on the operations base. They were maintaining our back lines for the most part. They were just doing a really good job. So I do want to give a big shout out to my members. They are amazing. They have always been amazing. And I really do appreciate them for being just a really cool alliance, be it in chat. I just have fun with these guys. Just pretty willing to fight beside me. So I just really do appreciate my alliance. I know I don't mention them all the time, but these guys definitely do put in their back work. It's not just me. For anybody who thinks that it's just me fighting, they are doing a great deal. We got Impushy over here, we got Piglet, we got Future Islands. Everybody's just putting in work, and I do appreciate that. I just wanted to say that because I don't want my members to always watch my videos and just think, oh, this dude just talking about his freaking stuff. And like I said, it's my POV, so it's hard not to talk about a lot of this stuff I'm doing, and I don't give them enough credit, I think. But yeah, we do also get kind of push them back here though at the end of the day, and we start pushing up here for our last hurrah, trying to just take over their operations base, maybe get a little bit of field fighting, and then end it there. And this video will end shortly. I think a lot of it will be just reports near the end, but you got a little few minutes here, and we are gonna waddle over here, fight them for our last hurrah. And just in general, this was a pretty fun fight. I think, of course, we would have lost if these guys were more coordinated, but they still did put up a good fight and definitely could have done worse. And yeah, I mean, like you see here, they have one Peter in here. They have Peter in here. They don't have a proper garrison captain, meaning the player, because even if it's Peter, they should have been able to hold that better if they had an actual proper player in there. And then they just aren't filling it, right? You have a lot of players out here on the field, and they're just so busy on the field or wanting to swarm the thing. They're so willing to swarm the operation base, but they aren't, garrisoning it, right? This is what I do with all my accounts. I have all my accounts after I take an operation base, gather around it, and I send one of each of my marches in there. That's why you've actually seen me running around with 2 or 3 marches on every account, because I sacrifice 2 or 3 marches for every operations base to make sure that we held these things as long and efficiently as possible. And even if I started melting out of most of them, my members would have come and backed them up, tried to fill them. In general, you know, we kept these things as topped off as possible, so it's not like they could just walk in there, solo swarm or even swarm it with a party and take it down with ease. You know, I think this is very just vital to notice, and they definitely should get more coordinated when it comes to that matter. Make sure their whales are playing more, I mean, less aggressive on the field, and trying to actually just sacrifice maybe 1 or 2 marches each to kind of fulfill this goal, because they do have a lot of whales and that makes them so much more flexible than we can actually be. And they definitely had more wiggle room they could have taken advantage of. They could have ran more rallies, and since they had better tech on their rallies, or their players in general, their gear was probably better. They probably would have won trades on rallies. We would have been struggling to maintain field control because these guys are honestly really insane on the field. They had just a lot of really big players, and we could only hold off the field. We couldn't dominate the field. They could have just completely obliterated and pushed us off, and that's the issue. They really had to take advantage of their strengths and not just been kind of on the defensive. You know, we kind of were stalling for time, trying to gain as many points as possible, and it did work in the end. So GG to Fox, and I'm going to end it here because you guys can enjoy these reports. I do appreciate you guys for watching though, as always, and you know I love you. So peace out everybody, and it has been a pleasure.